that we are well versed on all the reentry initiatives or services that are being offered throughout Pima County. And sometimes we end up intercepting with Pinnell or Cochise or even Maricopa. So again, welcome. And we're made up of a hub, and there's a number of us that are part of that hub: Miranda, Melissa, Danny, Sam, myself, Mike Gutierrez. Mike Gutierrez from the Catholic Diocese, and then Doyle from the Transition Center. So with all that being said, again, welcome, and I will pass it over to Star Miranda, who's gonna take it. So Miranda, you're up.
Alrighty. Okay, let me pull up the agenda. I had it, but I've got so many boxes and emails
I know.
open. Today has been such an awful day. I don't know if anybody else had a problem with timing and Calendly and Google Calendar. Like I had like 5 interviews today, and they were all at different times. Nothing synced in anything. So I don't know if anyone had that frustration. I just had to share it, and now you all know.
Crazy
So
daylight
sorry.
savings.
It was rough day today, but I'm glad you guys are all here. Let me just pull up the agenda. Sorry, it's taking me a hot minute. Okay, so today, Desiree, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I mean, I can talk about, I know we have number 2 possible in-person meeting returns, but honestly, that's the update on that is we're still trying. Danny, you got any updates on that? Maybe possibly the Abrams building? I don't know if you're chatting, man. Can't hear you. Sorry, I like your background though. You look cool.
Yeah, floating around back here. But yeah, so I did speak to Abrams. I talked to the individual who could connect us. I saw that there was some other ones going through back and forth, so I didn't know if we were going to wait for that to go first. Um, but yeah, whenever we're ready, just let me know about a week or two in advance. If that room's available, we can secure it, and that'll be kind of moving forward.
Sounds great. All right, Araceli. I guess Melissa will circle back in an email and get that rolling. I know Terry Maloney's on here with Amity, and we're trying to get a tour set up there so I can meet the llama and see if it's a great place for the coalition to go meet up at some point, and everyone can meet the llama, and we'll just all be happy. That's how I feel today. So thank you, Terry, for being here. If you could shoot us some dates of possible tours, that would be wonderful. We'll see where we can get people there. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, yay, look at that. We did have something for number 2. All right, Melissa, you go ahead and you can introduce Desiree.
Oh, it's Desiree.
Desiree.
Desiree is going to be speaking to us about program updates for her program with community medical. Awesome.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Desiree Voshefsky, soon to be OJ, as long as I can make it to Social Security and DMV to change all that. I was going to tell him to change his name. Uh, but I'm the Community Impact Manager for Community Medical Services. And for those of you that know, we're an outpatient opioid treatment program. Let me see if it'll let me share here. There we go. Maybe. Yes. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, we can. Well,
Yes.
now we can. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're an outpatient treatment for opioid use disorder. We utilize medications like methadone, Suboxone, Vivitrol, along with counseling, case management, and peer support. And we work a lot with people that are reentering from the criminal justice system, whether it's pretrial jail, deflection programs, the full spectrum of the pretty much the sequential intercept model. For those of you guys that are familiar with that, we have a way that we can intersect and provide care for those individuals that are justice involved. So some of the updates we have are take-home policy, our Recovery Connect app, health screens, and coordinating care with Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation, and Reentry. So for those of you that don't know, historically, methadone has been required daily dosing. So somebody that was in treatment or utilizing our prescribed methadone would have to come in 6 days out of the week to receive their dose and dose in front of our nurses. Federal regulations changed a while back, and as of October, the regulations in the state of Arizona actually changed as well. As soon as that went into effect, we ended up changing our take-home policy as well. Instead of people coming in for daily, what does it mean for our clients? At intake, clients are evaluated for tri-weekly take-homes instead of daily. So instead of coming in, they come into dose now either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. There are some clients that wanted to come in daily because they want that accountability. They like that routine. So those clients were able to stay on daily. And also if the provider assessed them to have something like memory issues or anything like that, where it wasn't safe for them to have the medication at home, then we do keep them on daily as well. Clients are eligible for the next step up to weeklies when they've had 15 days in treatment, one normal drug screen, no more than one missed day, and no missed medical appointments. So potentially after 2 weeks, they can actually go up and have weekly take homes. Starting dose was also increased from 30 milligrams to 50 milligrams. So the provider can assess for that and they can actually start them at 50 instead of 30. It allows people that are consistently using things like fentanyl to get to a stable dose a lot quicker. And it actually does affect their retention within the clinic and their retention in treatment. This kind of gives a view of what happened when we started to increase these take-homes from daily to tri-weekly. Throughout the course, there was 2 spots where clinics were able to start the tri-weekly take-homes, and that was around June when we had our clinics in other states implemented this policy sooner, and they were able to increase the take-homes. And then we saw that spike and people coming in for the 7-day, they were having the 7-day retention was more increased higher. So we had more people staying in treatment outside that 7 days. Let's see. This again, extended take home. So these are our clients that stayed in treatment at 7 days versus clients that did not receive the extended take home. So there's a drastic difference in the amount of clients that we're retaining in treatment with the extended take home policy versus the daily dosing. This is 30-day retention numbers. So again, around this time is when some of our clients started to see that retention, and we can see a spike in the 30-day retention. We do see little dips in here and there depending on the month and things like that where people kind of fall out of treatment. But overall, you can kind of see it was a continuous rise in 30-day retention for our clients. One of the other things that we've been really pushing in the clinic is our Recovery Connect app. It's available in the Google Play Store or in the Apple Store. And what it is an app specifically made for CMS by CMS. And it allows our clients to get to stay connected with a lot of different things to help them out in their recovery. Anybody can download this. It doesn't have to be a client. So if anybody wanted to check it out, they can actually download it in the Play Store. How it works, they get little rewards in the app for dosing. They can work towards their take-home goals because it'll track that and what they need to do next or when they're eligible for their take-home goals. And the most important thing and the thing that we're utilizing really like a lot is they can stay connected with their counselors. So it allows bi-directional messaging with the counselors. So the client can message the counselor and the counselor can message back within the app. And everything from that communication gets logged into our EMR, our medical records. So it charts that as it goes along. For those of you that are kind of in this era, remembered before text messaging came around, everything was kind of in person. But now that text messaging has come on and new generation, I'm not in the new generation anymore, but it seems to be more comfortable with texting. And being open and honest with texting. So the counselors have been able to utilize that to help somebody in their progress in their recovery. Top 3 benefits for clients, they can link with their counselor through a QR code. If you're not a client, it won't let you link directly to a counselor, but being a client, they can link directly to their counselor. They can track thoughts, triggers, and feelings, and they can work on goal setting through the app. Okay. 91% of CMS clients using the app said it helped prevent them from taking a step back. So sometimes the clients will message their counselor, hey, I feel like using, or I feel like I'm going to, relapse or something like that. And there's been several occasions where the clinic was open. So the counselor said, come in. So the client came into the clinic and met with their counselor instead of going out and returning to use. For our health screen updates, we're continuing again the Hep C testing and treatment. It's offered, the testing is offered to clients at intake or when the client requests any other time. The medication for treatment is provided to the clients when they come into dose. So if they're have tri-weekly take-homes, they'll get their medication tri-weekly to clear Hep C. The new thing we're offering now is STI testing and treatment. So again, clients are offered STI testing at the time of intake. It can be requested anytime after that as well. If it's positive, it'll automatically flag them to me with the medical provider, so the medical provider can discuss treatment options and get them the prescriptions that they need to to clear that STD or STI. So Arizona Department of Corrections they do continue people on methadone and Suboxone both while they're in custody in the Department of Corrections. We're continuing to work with them to coordinate care for the continuation of the medication upon release. Our correctional health team has access to the department's MOUD dashboard to assist in getting the returning citizen linked to the clinic closest to them and the place that they're releasing to. We're completing in-reach via either in-person, telehealth, or by phone prior to the release. So we are speaking to these individuals that are releasing and making that connection with them before they even hit those doors. Returning citizens are provided with a direct number if they have questions upon release. Evidently, it hasn't been updated because I still get those calls and I'm fine with it. I love talking to them when they get out to find out what their next steps are, congratulate them, welcome them home, all that kind of stuff. And then we're also tracking our outcomes with Arizona Department of Corrections 30, 60, and 90 days post-release. Anybody want to guess how many people we have on our referral list coming out?
I was just about to ask you that. I have a little bunch of notes I'm taking for questions.
Anybody want to guess?
612.
572.
I would say
73.
60.
800.
Let's see here. 1,888. That's the current number, because when we first log into the dashboard, it gives us at the very top the number of people that we have visibility to, and right now it's 1,888 individuals that we're attempting to coordinate care statewide that are releasing from Arizona Department of Corrections. So it's a very, very daunting number, but we have correctional health liaisons throughout the state that actually help coordinate these, meet with the individuals, take their phone calls, that sort of thing. We haven't had to yet, but we do offer them if they don't have transportation going from one place to another. We can provide that transportation too, to get them from where they're releasing into the clinic that they're supposed to go to for intake.
What do you use for transportation?
We have company vehicles.
I'm always on the hunt for transportation. Sorry, keep going. Thank you.
We have company vehicles. And lastly, we do offer Sublocade and Brixadi. For those of you that don't know what Sublocade or Brixadi is, it's an injectable form of buprenorphine. So somebody that's maybe prescribed Suboxone can actually switch over to the injectable form. And Sublocade is once every 28 days. Brixadi is either once a week or once every 28 days. So it's a little bit different way to manage that. The dosing is a little bit different with that. So if sometimes we find in the clinics that the Suboxone dose has a cap at 24 milligrams. If the person is high fentanyl use, that 24 milligrams is not touching their cravings and their withdrawal symptoms. So what we can do is switch them over to something like Sublocade or Brixadi, where we're able to kind of adjust the buprenorphine a little bit higher, but that medication time releases through their body either through the 28 days or through the week. So it's a great medication that we're trying to put out there a little bit more that we're utilizing. People aren't tied to coming into the clinic. It's once every 28 days. There's little to no withdrawals when coming off the medication. So if somebody is interested in tapering, this may be an option to switch to. That way those withdrawals, once we get down to the taper process, is more feasible for them. Also, we are our own pharmacy, so every CMS clinic is its own pharmacy, so we're able to dispense our own medication. We're able to dispense our own Suboxone and along with methadone. Meaning if somebody is showing that the person's access is suspended in Medicaid due to incarceration, and this happens a lot of times with the jail because access isn't notified in real time of their release, we can still do the intake, and then we'll do things in the background where we can call access and get the access unsuspended, but we can still do that intake regardless of what their insurance status is with Medicaid. We also have community sisters in the clinic, so if it's something that they need to reapply, they can do that while they're here as well. For Southern Arizona, we have 2 correctional health liaisons in the Tucson area, Josh Kaufman and Drea Clemens. We also have correctional health liaison in Yuma, which is Tara, in Kingman, which is Christy, and then in Maricopa County, we have 3, Leo, Michael, and Alora. So we have a pretty expansive team for that statewide. For CMS, Arizona is the only state that has a correctional health team. We also have a veteran support specialist that does help our veterans that may need assistance. And we can also work with people if they don't have any IDs. A lot of times when we get people from deflection or people that are unhoused, they may not have an ID. We'll go ahead and still try to figure out a way to verify their identity. If their picture is in access, we can use that. I pulled somebody's picture off the Arizona Department of Correction website and use that as their state ID until we can get them set up with a community resource to get them their actual ID in the meantime. But it's about eliminating barriers to treatment, not telling somebody, no, we can't complete your intake when you walk in the door. And we keep those intakes 100% walk-in. As long as they get into the door before the clinic closes, we're going to complete the intake for them.
Desiree, Tom asked a question in the chat.
Yes.
How many of the returning citizens are in need of MAT services?
In total, it's above that 1,888. There's a lot more people that didn't pick CMS that are on that dashboard as well. We can only see the ones that are visible that pick CMS to have reentry to for HIPAA purposes and things like that. But it does greatly help people that have an opioid use disorder. It's a gold form of treatment for people with opioid use disorder, the gold standard, and it's very, very underutilized in the community. We see it all the time where people come out of prison or DOC, and if their tolerance is bottomed out and they're not on any type of medication, they are at a higher risk for a fatal overdose once they're released. It breaks down those barriers, and as we can keep their tolerance in their system with either Suboxone or methadone. And this is what I always tell the people that are justice involved: give yourself at least a year in the community before you try to taper off the medication. And I say that because you haven't addressed all your mental health stuff that you need to address inside, as you do have the opportunity to address that once you're released. Okay. What is Sally?
Yes, so you said people who picked CMS. Who else are the providers in Pima County? Do you know?
In Pima County, Kodak, La Frontera, Bicycle Health is a Suboxone provider, Behavioral Awareness, BAC, Behavioral Awareness Center. I'm probably forgetting somebody.
And they have similar programs to what you just described?
They do medication for opioid use disorder, so they do methadone and Suboxone. Our programs are, while some of them are very similar, they do kind of depend on somebody's needs. So it kind of just all depends. I think right now we're the only MOUD provider in the state that has adopted the tri-weekly take-homes as expansive as we have. The other clinics are doing them, but they're doing them more on a case-by-case basis.
And then last question. I've not used drugs before, so I have limited knowledge. Is the 3 times a week, is that an overdose? Like, can they overdose on that? Or I don't know, probably not the right question, but can they
No.
can it be misused, I guess?
It can, but what we found, and this is, I'm gonna stop sharing here real quick. And this is more what we found out during COVID. When COVID happened, we had to increase people's take homes on the medication because we had to reduce the flow in the clinics because there was health concerns and stuff like that. So a lot of what happened during COVID was giving people the increased medication and the increased take homes and trusting them with their medication. And this was actually studied nationwide, and why SAMHSA decided to change their guidelines. But it was studied nationwide and found that people really weren't misusing the medication as was thought was going to happen. So methadone, I mean, any other medication that you get, you don't have to go every day to take it. Imagine having to go into a clinic every day if you needed insulin, or every time you needed insulin, or every time you needed to take your high blood pressure medication or anything else like that. It's the most monitored medication out there. And seeing that people are able to manage their medication appropriately in the community is something that we're looking forward to. We're looking at. We do have safety protocols in the community. So if somebody that's on weekly or above take homes, they can actually get called back for what we call a medication callback. They have to come into the clinic with all their bottles that they have left, and the nurses check the bottles to make sure that they're not tampered with. They make sure that they're taken on the right day. So if they happen to take the medication out of order, they're dropped back. So even though it may be the same dose, they do have to take the medication as labeled on the bottom on that day. They also do a UA when they come in. And when we're doing our UAs, we're testing for methadone and methadone metabolite. So the metabolite tells us if the person is taking the medication. It shows us that it's metabolizing through their system, and what methadone is broken down to is actually in their urine drug screen. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you for explaining, and I'm sorry for how I phrased that question.
Oh, it's okay. Caroline?
Just wanted to say that I can speak for COPE. We do also, it is like you said, case by case. Someone that can prove they can have take home. I don't know if prove is the right word either, right? But someone that shows their interest in continuing to medicate themselves as directed. So when they do the COPE also, they have the MAT services with Suboxone. The Suboxone is more take home than the methadone. But we also, I just wanted to add that we also do take home.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from other community providers too, as well as, Kodak and stuff like that, because they were kind of trying to see who else was pretty much the go-to at intake is tri-weekly take homes. And they pretty much have to prove that they're not able to handle the medication, that we don't increase them from the daily dosing. So it's kind of a little bit, we're going to give it to them to start and, work from there. Anybody else have any questions?
I do. You had put, I was curious how long the app had been and you said that they get rewards. So I was curious what kind of rewards they get.
It's just little things in the app. It's nothing monetary or anything else like that. It just sends them like positive affirmations, great job, just that encouragement that they need. The app we've had for about a year now, and we're looking to, right now we're around 60% company-wide of people that have the app downloaded and are connected with their counselor. And we're looking to increase that to 70%. A lot of the challenges we face in getting people linked to the app has to do with more with them not having a phone than it is with them actually utilizing the app. One of my favorite things about the app is it has what you call a beacon group on there. So you can pre-program people that are part of your recovery circle, and people that you can reach out to ask for help if you're feeling like you're going to use. And you can pre-program the numbers in there. And once you hit the option on there, it actually sends out like a Mayday message to them a little bit, saying that you're maybe in a triggering point, and that way it'll encourage somebody to get in contact with you if they're available. So it's kind of like a mass message out to your recovery team to kind of help you get back on track. But there's things in here that warn you as far as danger areas. So if you're getting close to an area maybe that you used to use in, and you're not really realizing it, it'll kind of alert you to that. So you can kind of, make sure you have the support that you need, because we know people, places, and things can be a trigger for some people, especially the places part. And there's a lot of times where people may not want to go into a certain area, or, because they may see old friends and stuff like that. So it actually gives them alert if they're getting near to those areas, which is kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. It's like having like a big brother or sister being like, hey, don't go over there. Don't go back in that hood.
Yep.
It's not for you. It's not good over there. That's neat.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Also has like a meeting finder, your reasons to recover, your milestones, your affirmation collection, how to resolve ambivalence, words that describe you, lessons, skills, goals, meditations, triggers, relapse warnings. If you miss a dose, if you don't make it into the clinic, it sends you a message for misdosing. So things like that. Your safety plan is in there. Just their finances in recovery, sobriety counter or calendar. There's just a lot of support within the app that we've developed to tailor to our clients.
Yay. I love that. That's awesome. Got a hand raised?
Yep. John,
It's real fuzzy.
you're really, really low.
Like you're talking into a cup from far away.
Oh, I'm not sure.
That was better. That was better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know what number you guys work with as far as the SMI population versus the gym sub population?
That kind of,
the prison?
we don't really, we track it, but then we don't. I can get the numbers for you as far as people that are designated as SMI. We do work with, that's not a disqualifier for them to come into treatment with us. For those people that are SMI, they do have to have a health home on top of that to kind of manage those things, and help them with their mental health, stability, as well as the treatment here with us. We are looking to expand into more mental health services. We're running a pilot program in Tucson, but I can't really talk much about that yet because it hasn't been rolled out. It's still in the pilot phase. But I know it's something that we're looking at expanding to that because we know it's a need for our clients.
Okay. I'll reach out to you because I'm wondering if there's some overlap between your guys' program and what we're doing reentry wise with the release planners in the prison. And maybe there might be some duplicate efforts going on there, and just making sure, we're all on the same page for things. Because as you know, with all these systems that are in place now, they don't always communicate with each other. So
Definitely don't.
So that'd be good to know. So I'll reach out to you and set up a meeting separately and discuss that a little bit more. Thank you.
Okay, I can put my email in the chat.
Awesome. And I don't want to cut anybody off, but you did such a good presentation. Thank you, Desiree, but we're kind of pushing time, so I want to make sure Andrea Cruz is here to do a presentation. Unless you had anything else you wanted to throw out there, Desiree.
I think that was it.
Thank you so much. Also, can I share that PowerPoint?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Okay, cool. I'd like to add it with all this stuff. Thank you so
Yep.
much. You guys are doing so much cool stuff, and that app is amazing. It really is helpful to have someone you can call like Mayday out to. And I'm sure like texting, it kind of helps and takes away like the shame and the stigma of having to do something in person. So
Yep,
I
the goal is
appreciate it.
going to be to hopefully get telemed appointments be able to happen through the app too. So somebody doesn't necessarily have to come in to check in with the doctor if they're not doing well out in the community. So there's things that we're going to expand upon it later. And as soon as we do that, I'll update you guys.
Yay, thank you so much, Desiree. Appreciate you. Alrighty, so Andrea hyphen Perkins.
Yes, it's me, Andrea-Perkins.
I'm so happy you're here. Lovely to see you. Are you able to share the PowerPoint?
Yeah, let me hop on and do that.
Okay, so I'll just let you take it away from here. Introduce yourself, and thank you so much.
No problem. I don't usually use Zoom, guys, so you might have to help me with that. So it's the share button, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, and then we're going to go to slideshow.
Yay, thank you. I like it that way.
we got a little drum roll or something or some cool music or no, I'm kidding. No. So my name's
Right ahead.
Andrea
Go right ahead.
Cruz, and I'm a reentry employment counselor for Arizona DES Workforce Solutions. I'm a former reentry employment counselor for a dismiss halfway house, so I had some experience working with them. Former corrections officer, but honestly, even with the reentry and corrections experience, I worked different jobs, and I also struggled with addiction myself. Thankfully, it didn't lead to incarceration, but because I experienced struggle, I knew what it was to job hop, to couch hop, to not keep a job, and to get sick of my own crap and to let down my family. I knew that I had to make a change. So one day I decided to move out of Tucson, Arizona and start over. And I got addicted to my own success. I got addicted to working out, got addicted to working and making money. And it was really nice to actually have money in my pocket to pay bills. It felt good. And so my passion is truly in reentry, and my passion is seeing my clients succeed and having these real conversations in the classroom where you get to connect. And when they see me and they're like, oh my God, this girl's a square. But then when I open up and it's like, hey man, I actually struggled and I overcame it. It's amazing, right? So I'm going to introduce P.R.O.D and what we do, and feel free to ask questions as we come along. And Miranda, you might have to help me because I don't see the buttons, like the hands and all that stuff. So
I got you, homie.
So P.R.O.D means Partner for Reentry and Opportunities in Workforce Development. It's a collaboration between the Justice Department and the Department of Labor. It is the first time that DOL will offer job training and reentry support, and it's an approximate $42 million investment. It strengthens Arizona by helping Arizonans reach their potential. And why the P.R.O.D Grant Initiative? Well, our entire purpose is to reduce recidivism, which typically happens within the first 3 years of release. So we're trying to break that by developing those life skills, developing those job skills, and they go out there into the world with that sense of preparedness where they feel more comfortable with themselves and providing them those resources. And I'll get to that in just a little bit. The target goals here breaks it down into 3 phases. Phase 1 is during incarceration. Phase 2 is during the RRC centers. Phase 3 is pretty much they're done. They're done with their time, and we still remain in touch with these clients. So again, the goal is to improve employment outcomes, to strengthen communities where these grant programs operate by reducing recidivism, and we operate at all prisons. This is the map of the different prisons that we operate currently. So there's this little cluster here in Tucson that is FCI Tucson, USP Max, Dismiss Charities, and we just got a contract with SPC, so stoked about that, and that's going to be with the P.R.O.D 1 team. And then we have FCI Safford, we have BSS Florence, which is a halfway house, and then we have what's it called? The prison camp up there at the Phoenix. And then we have Flagstaff Working Alternative. So yeah, residential reentry centers pretty much means a federal halfway house. These are what the enrollment forms look like. They'll fill out the intake, name, date of birth, registration number, and they will also fill out the skills assessment form as well. And then upon completion of the program, they'll actually resubmit that skill assessment form and an exit survey. Receiving the feedback from the clients helps us make those necessary improvements. And the reason why we had them resubmit that skill assessment is to see how the skills were measured. Did they do better with the social skills, or do we need to teach something different? So those intake forms connect them to Arizona Job Connection. And I know you guys know Danny Howe. He is also our BSR. So yeah, he connects us to local jobs, which is loaded into Arizona Job Connection. Those clients, when they release out to phase 2 or phase 3, they can log in to AJC, check it out, and see what jobs are available or what resources are available or job fairs, or they can even submit referrals or look at training providers or sign up for any kind of trades. So here we go for phase 1. Phase 1 is in the prison, and those classes are covered in 12 weeks. This program is voluntary. So it is recruited by the education department and word of mouth. We highly rely on word of mouth as a way to promote, right? We have to connect with the clients in the prison because they are kind of like our flyer, right? We prefer people 12 to 24 months before release, but we'll accept anybody, including lifers. So some of the classes that we cover could be orientation, expectations versus agreements, or we'll talk about work ethics, how to have healthy work relationships and soft skills. And we'll conduct our own in-house mock interviews. We'll do private interviews. We'll do group interviews, board interviews. We'll expose them to different types of interview settings, and we'll develop their resumes and more. Phase 2, which is at the residential reentry centers or the federal halfway house. This one's unique because some of the RRCs have made our program mandatory. And for the RRCs that have made the program mandatory, they have found an increase of their employment numbers. But the clients kind of get a little disgruntled at first because they're like, I don't even want to be here. So it's important for us as the employment counselors to find a way to make this fun, find a way to engage with people that are a little disgruntled. And at the end of the 6-week program, even with some of the grumpy ones, they'll find us and ask for those one-on-one job counseling because maybe there's things that they don't want to talk about in a group setting. So they'll be more apt to be like, hey, you know what? Actually, I do want to talk to you about this. There is something about my background. Maybe that's why I'm not getting a job. Maybe it is the way I present myself. Can I talk to you about this or that? So they'll pull me aside or Mr. Baker to the side, and we'll schedule those one-on-ones on the side to provide that specialized coaching that we can't discuss in the group. But it is a streamlined revolving program. And what does that mean? Well, in phase 1 in the prisons, you sign up and the guys complete it at 12 weeks, and that's done. Well, in the halfway house, anybody can enter the program at any point of the week because the halfway house is like a revolving door. There's people coming in, people coming out. So we just take them as they come. So someone can come in at like week 5 and they're just like, I don't even know who you are. They just put me here. So we have to find a way to connect with them at week 5 and catch them up to speed. But they graduate as long as they complete their 6 weeks. So we just kind of start over. So they graduate at 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does that make sense?
I don't know if I'm the only one. I'm just gonna throw my stuff out
So
there.
somebody comes in at week 4.
Mhm.
Okay. And they graduate this way. So week 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so they do get the classes. I was just concerned that you just kind of tried to swoop in the first 4 classes. And I was like, cool, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that they do get the full thing.
They-
I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you.
So it's open-ended, like, right? Is that what the right word is? Open-ended? right?
Yeah.
You can end at any given time, you can open at any given time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. An open-ended program. But either way, they still get their 6 weeks, but it might not be in a 1, 2, 3 order. They still get their 6-week class.
Good. Thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying that. I'm so glad because it would suck if they missed out on the first couple of weeks, like it sounds like a cool program. So
Yeah.
thank you.
So it's definitely a faster, intense program. I've got to come in there hot because these guys are already just like, I don't even want to see you. And I'm like, do you? Because I can help you. And so it's intense. It's an intense program. And at the end of it, they're like, actually, I think I want to talk to you on one-on-one because they realize that, hey, maybe I'm the problem. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, you are the problem. Let's come and fix it. Let's work together and let's find a way to get along with your counselors. Let's find a way to disclose your background. Let's find a way to feel confident with your interview skills. Why are you shut down? Why are you lacking eye contact? What is the needs? What are the barriers? What is going on? So you get to talk to clients with different backgrounds, and it's fun because I enjoy helping people find the best versions of themselves. But I'm not going to put Andrea Cruz in my client. I'm just finding the best version of who that client is. So I do enjoy working with the RRCs. But yeah. So we cover work ethics, interview prep, mock interviews, resume building, workplace relationships. We build the resumes for them. We do. So anybody have questions about like phase 1 or phase 2? I know I'm kind of swooping in like a fly.
No, I think you're doing great.
Ooh. Okay, so anybody can enter phase 3 at any point. And what does that mean? They are out of custody. They can enter phase 3 from incarceration. They can enter phase 3 from the halfway house. Does that make sense? Sort of. Miranda.
If you keep going, phase 3 is that last 6 weeks, right?
Yeah. No. So phase 3 means you are no longer in custody. Okay. So this is the beautiful part about our program is we will stay in touch with you even after you release from the prison or even after you release from the halfway house. We will stay in touch with you by email, by text, by phone, by virtual. If you want to meet in person, if you want to meet at the office, we will stay in touch with you to provide you the one-on-one services. So again, when our clients meet phase 3, that means they are fully released from BOP custody, Bureau of Prison Custody. They are no longer incarcerated. And they can enter that phase from phase 1 or phase 2. They can enter that phase from the prison or from the halfway house. Does that get a bit confusing? It took me like 8 months to figure that out.
Everybody got that? It's okay. We're tracking. I feel good about it.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Once the client is no longer incarcerated, we will remain their employment counselors. If our client, yes, Melissa.
What was the question? The question was phase 3. So, what if they just opt out of 1 and 2 and just be like, oh no, I'm free range and I can't get a job. Who will help me? Do you guys like intervene on like initial phase 3 or do they have to like participate in 1 or 2?
Actually, that's a great question. Say a client, and this actually happened recently, a client just didn't want to take our class and he ended up dropping out or removing himself from the program. But he signed up and he was still enrolled in our trackers and our AJC system. He reached out to Miss Corona and he said, hey, I just released from FCI. I'm now in Portland, Oregon. I would like to connect to the counselor. So he's actually phase 2. We will stay in touch with that client. So as long as you enroll in our program within phase 1 or phase 2, it doesn't matter. We will remain your employment counselors. Does that answer your question, Melissa?
So if they didn't enroll in 1 or
Mhm.
2 and they've been released and they find out about your guys' program, can they just like swing in for a phase 3 shot, or do you need that like 1-2 groundwork laid?
Yeah, the 1-2 would have to be laid, unfortunately, but that is a good question. And I would love for that to happen, right? That would be amazing if we had more of like a phase 3 process. But usually the groundwork would have to happen from when they were in prison, or the groundwork would have to happen if the client was residing at the federal halfway house and signed up for our program. Even if they didn't complete the program, it doesn't matter for whatever reasons. We will still remain in contact once they release from prison or the halfway house.
So so I guess at that point they would just end up getting referred to like the one stop.
Right.
They'd just be like average eligible for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly. So so say our client from FCI Tucson releases to an out-of-state P.R.O.W.D state. All right. So we would refer the client to the point of contact in that state. So say John Doe releases to California. Well, California is a P.R.O.W.D state. We would refer to this little picture right here. There's more context in that, but that's just what it looks like. Call Joe. Joe would say, okay, well, now Joe is going to be referred to this brand new counselor, and we would complete a warm transfer from that point. In that warm transfer, it's an email to let the employment counselor know what classes did this person take, or anything noteworthy that maybe this counselor should know, so that there is a nice carryover of services from that point. But say the client transfers to a P.R.O.W.D state, but that state does not have coverage, which we have ran into. Unfortunately, that does happen. Like Texas has certain areas where they don't cover, or even California. Well, we would still remain their employment counselors and provide the services from Arizona. And then we would connect the client to a local workforce. Yep. Anybody have any questions on that?
Is there a contact like that cool picture you got there with the contact info? Is there a link to that we could share for others, or is it on this already and I should just
Yeah, I can send you that point of
we can put it in the
contact.
chat whenever. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've got 18 states below: California, Illinois, Michigan, all the way down to District of Columbia. So unfortunately, they have certain service areas. So I'll be sure to send you guys that point of contact as well. And then, so say our phase 3 client, like again, phase 3 means they are no longer in custody. If they release to any county in Arizona, we will continue providing the client services, whether it be virtually or in person. They can call, they can text, they can email. My clients will send me messages at 7 o'clock in the morning. I could be on my way to teach at USP on Wednesdays. I could be answering calls. It could be for any reason. That's what I'm here to do, is to help the clients understand how to navigate their situations, how to deal with halfway house stuff. With my background, it's been very helpful, and how to respect the differences. And it's been very helpful for the clients, because what they want to do is they want to make good decisions. They want to make good life decisions. And for a lot of them, they sometimes feel frustrated and may act impulsively. So it's like I try to walk them off the edge. My theory is I always tell these people in class, I tell them, what if I told you to stop looking at the red pen? What if I tell you to stop looking at the color red? Then what happens? Then you start to see the color red. And that's kind of my teaching style. People are going to tell you to stop doing something, maybe in the back of your head, you're like, maybe I just might, or whatever those things may be. Well, my approaches are a little differently. I look at the cards on your table and I try to educate you on each card and each outcome. And when I educate you on each card and each outcome, naturally the client would more than likely make a better decision versus me saying, don't look at the color red. So, so far it has been working. But once they release to Arizona, we provide the clients the AJC logins where they can apply for felon-friendly employment if they want to change like any tabs, or they can just apply for all employment and see what happens. That's also what I've been coached on as well. We provide local resources, referrals, word of mouth, job fairs, resource fairs. Danny's been awesome with that. And like I said, it's just keeping in the loop and just being that mutual support for them. And I'm just really grateful that I've developed the trust with my clients in and out of the classroom that they feel comfortable staying in touch with me at phase 3. Every once in a while, though, you do get clients that, they do fall off the radar and you just don't hear anything after. But for the most part, it's regular contact. So yeah, it feels good. I'm really grateful for this job and grateful for this position. This is our first success story, and this success story was submitted to our P.R.O.D nationals. And you can actually find this success story on the P.R.O.D nationals link with Workforce GPS. And we can drop that in the chat shortly. But Jesus Prieto was incarcerated for 6.5 years, and I taught this class at FCI Safford. Mr. Prieto got involved in drugs, got involved with gangs, got involved with prison gangs, and he took this class as just like this last hurrah of like, man, I'm like getting out in a couple weeks. And right before he got out, we were talking about cell phones. He's like, man, Miss Cruz, I know you're just like trying to do the right thing, right? But I don't know. I'm not doing it. I'm not touching these cell phones. I'm not going to talk about my background. He was just like, nope, 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 not doing it, not doing it. And he was just very resistant. But I feel like if I don't allow my clients to challenge us, to challenge the curriculum, to provide that resistance, then how are we going to be good teachers if we don't allow them the ground to say, I don't agree? Because then I'm just teaching you something you're not going to use then. I'm not going to convince you to use this, but talk to me and tell me why you don't agree with this. And so we have these discussions in the classroom, and that develops emotional intelligence, right? That develops more resilience within him. That develops his confidence and developing his interview skills. But at the end of the day, he gets out, he's facing the world, and he says, I ain't touching cell phones. I'm not disclosing my background. We did these mock interviews and he made an attempt. But everything that we taught, he applied himself and he stayed in touch, and he started to call me and he was venting about some work situations, about a coworker that he was bumping heads with. And I walked him over the ledge. I'm like, man, you just got out. And this is not the time and place, man. You just got out. And he did very well with these conversations because it's the theory and it's like the theory and practice. And that's where phase 3 is the most important phase, because we talk about it in phase 1 and phase 2. We talk about it in the classroom in prison. We talk about it in the classroom at the halfway house, and they absorb it. but it really comes into practice when they hit phase 3, when they're really on their own. Then you call me and it's like, yo, Andrea, I don't want to make mistakes. What can I do? And so as soon as he did it, he got himself a job. He got himself a cell phone. He's at the church and he's praying and now so in the story it shows that he got a job at Hotel Encanto, but he ended up, because he was so inspired by my story and a little bit about my upbringing, he became a peer support specialist. And now he's kind of doing what I'm doing. So we didn't get to add that because that happened about 7-8 months later. But I'm super proud of Mr. Breto. Truly. Truly. But and I'm a Stoic. I believe in Stoic philosophy. Associate people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. And the process is a mutual one. Men learn as much as they teach. And if you guys have any questions or want to connect with P.R.O.W.D, that is the P.R.O.W.D email. And let me drop that information in the message so that you guys get the point of contacts for the out-of-state P.R.O.W.Ds. You guys have like any questions? I know I kind of rolled in a little fast there, but.
I do. Oh, do you?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, just so you know, Arizona at Work is really a model for the nation with this P.R.O.W.D program, just because they've been doing this at a different level with the feds, and then of course with the second chance centers. But they've been, they've already quote unquote perfected the program, except, it's so different and odd and whatnot because it's federal and people go everywhere. But they have, Colorado is just in the starting phases. And instead of calling them, they're calling me and saying, how do you work with these people and how does it work? So it was pretty interesting to hear some of the stuff that's happening at a national level. So I just wanted to make sure that you all were well versed on P.R.O.W.D. So if you have participants who come to you and said, I did this program in the prison and this is what it was, or this is, that you all know what they're referring to. And that's my 2 cents. Go ahead, Miranda.
No, thank you, Rosalie. I'm so glad. And so yeah, you've got it on the screen. That's what the website looks like. Looks pretty spiffy to me. Thank you. Did you? I don't know if you put it. You did put it in the chat. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for Andrea? Well, I think you did a spectacular job. I think it's so amazing. And I think it kind of ties together the point of what Desiree was also saying with the app. People, it's really that crucial time when you first get out, from whether it's detox or jail or prison, and you have that choice of, am I gonna, do things again? So
There was a question, Miranda. It looked like there was a question in the chat.
Oh, cool. What percentage of returning population has very little
habilitation? And I wouldn't know how to answer that, but I am coaching somebody that is having trouble reading, having trouble understanding English, and his native language is Apache. And that is a fun one-on-one because he, whether he knows it or not, gets to teach me as well. So we get to teach each other in different ways. So more to unfold when those things happen. I have a client that's severely mentally ill in my class. He hasn't disclosed, but he did say I am SMI. So we handle pretty much everybody. It's all inclusive. We have lifers in our program that still feel like this is a good program to take. So imagine a lifer taking our program, big handlebars, gray beard, He was in a biker gang, man. And I don't know what led up to it, but he did. And he's taking our class, but he takes our class, he answers our questions. I asked for his feedback, and that OG, he goes back to his area and he's talking about our program. So word of mouth is really important. And we get to move the lives of many people of many backgrounds, and that's important. So, yeah.
Also, having those
And-
programs under your belt
Yep.
really helpful for the potential of ever possibly getting, paroled or released. And I know that has been something that's been kind of going on in ADCRR. I went a couple of years ago, I was helping out with the Inside Out Network. We were helping out, with lifers trying to look for resources, and
Mhm.
they still need help. They still need like a reentry program because there's still hope. You never give up hope if it's out there. And I think it's admirable to have those lifers in there doing it because it shows a lot to the others, who are there, that it's still a great program. So, Araceli?
Araceli?
Sorry, I'm trying to unmute myself. It's always, and then all of a sudden my dog barks. But the other cool thing about is, which they may or may not know, is that the penitentiary, they're working with a slew of individuals, and there is, that's our highest percentage of sex offenders. So
Mhm.
that's really good because, a sex offender, when they're returning, they're so perplexed because they know all the odds they have against them. So I really can appreciate them being empowered through this program
Oh,
to
yeah.
do the right thing, to ask the right questions, to present themselves well, and to feel, that they do have hope post incarceration.
Yep. Definitely teaching
Awesome.
classes at the USP. So, yep. Miranda?
You're so cool. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you came and presented. I've been trying to get like every month. I'm like, come chat. I just want to see what you do and have everybody else know. So thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate your time. And so if no one has any other questions, we'd like to move on. Kimberly Wang, are you still on?
I am here.
Wonderful. Hello.
All right. I didn't come prepared with a presentation, but I did put together 2 slides.
Cool.
So,
All right. Andrea, if you could stop sharing so Kimberly can, please.
Sorry about that.
That's
Did that
okay.
work?
You just want everyone to look at your stuff. It's all right. Okay, so Kimberly, if you would like to introduce yourself and share with everyone your cool 2 slides, we appreciate it. Thank you.
all right. All right. Can everyone see now?
Yep, yes, you can.
All right, perfect. So my name is Kimberly Wang. I'm one of the program managers at the Community Mental Health and Addiction Division. So my team, I supervise mainly the substance use support team. And I just wanted to provide a brief intro to what our team does. I do think my colleague came before, Latavia, to present on some of our work as well. So we do a lot of the harm reduction supply distribution. So we're the main distributor to agencies for naloxone and fentanyl and xylazine testing strip. So we get our supply from the state and we redistribute to a lot of the agencies here. So if you are in need, please reach out to me. And we have our substance use support team, which I supervise. So we have 2 peer navigators and 2 case managers that do short-term linkage to care work. We do a lot of the educational materials that you might see in the community, like the Naloxone Saves Lives poster. And we do a lot of trainings and presentations regarding overdose-related topics and substance use-related topics and mental health-related topics. I'm pretty sure we've had a lot of touch points in various capacities. You might have seen Mark Person, another program manager for our data side. So we do a lot of the data and surveillance, the overdose and suicide fatality reviews, and we had just added our Office of Injury and Violence Prevention. So we're still looking for a program manager for that position. So if you know anyone who is interested, I think the posting is still online. So we're starting that work up as well. So kind of a broad range of stuff that we do. But I am here mainly to, oops. talk about our Suboxone Quick Start program. So this is a relatively new program that we had just started in collaboration with our clinical services division. So our goal is really to help fill the gaps and either start or bridge someone with Suboxone while they get established with a health home for long-term treatment. Basically, our health director was like, get this done, and we did it, and we're still trying to find our groove and where we fit in to help fill those gaps. So we have been noticing that there have been some people who have been discharged from the jail or hospitals without bridge medication. So we want to be there as additional support to help bridge someone so they can get established, especially with the jail if their access hasn't been turned back on, they might not have insurance immediately. So we're really there as a backup. And I have the cell phone number up there. So if you have any questions, you can call or text. So we do only operate under regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we're keeping this for now since we're just starting out. And then since we don't have the capacity right now to expand, but we can potentially look into that in the future. So our minimum requirements is that they must have a reliable phone to coordinate care, and we cannot provide medications to people who are pregnant or younger than 18 at this time. So we do typically provide a 5-day supply, but it can change. Like, for example, if there's holidays coming up, the prescriber can do 7 days. And we utilize Spectrum Pharmacy, so it can be delivered directly to a facility or to a home. And then we also have some funding to help support that. So, for example, if they don't have insurance, the health department can pay for that 5 to 7 day supply. And then if they do have insurance, and people can always pick up at their preferred pharmacy. So that's kind of the gist of it. We've had 14 people so far. We've been working a lot with inpatient facilities such as Via Maria. We've advertised to El Dorado Springs. I think that's what they're called now. And then we've been working a lot with Doyle at the transition center too. So it's a smaller program, but really there to help bridge those gaps. So that is my email. And if there are any questions.
I was a little curious. So you do have a couple of places, organizations that you've started to, but as far as reaching out, was there any specific areas or I'm trying to connect the dots here of like, how can I get that? I know you said that it's small and you want to kind of keep it small. It's me, so I'm like, I want to tell everybody and share your info with everyone, but I don't want to do that if that's overwhelming and you don't have capacity. But I mean, this does look like, filling in the gaps where it's needed. So have you guys found the targeted spots that those gaps are?
Yeah, so we're really working, after people discharge, as Desiree was talking about, they're at higher risk of an overdose if their tolerance has been lower. So thinking about jail releases, hospital releases, kind of those situations where they might not be able to get that bridge for the weekend or can't get connected to care right away. So being there for those situations, I think is where we're finding our groove in. Also, yeah, the insurance piece, having Spectrum be able to deliver directly to a home or facility has been pretty helpful as well. Because yeah, some of the folks that we have encountered recently got out of jail, access hasn't been turned on, and now they're struggling to find that bridge, right? If they were prescribed in the jail. So
If they're unsheltered and they haven't found a home yet, if they go to like Casa Maria, can they have it delivered?
Yes, yes. As long as the facility is okay with it, but yeah, of course. And that's why we request the phone, because the pharmacy will call them to coordinate pickup. So even if they're unhoused, if they're good with the phone and reliable with it, they can coordinate like a safe place, like outside of Walgreens or Walmart, for example. We haven't, I don't think we've done that before, but it is a possibility. So we are making sure folks know that too.
Yes. So Fortunately, many people don't have an address to put down to come to.
Right.
So if there was a way and you guys are filling those gaps, that's pretty amazing. Caroline had her hand up earlier and had put in the chat if the slide can be sent to us. If you can, well, send it to me and I'll send it to everybody
Yeah,
else.
for
And
sure.
I'll let everyone, thank you. Great.
Yeah, I had a question about the insurance, but I said, "Oh, let's see, let her finish," and then she answered all the questions I had. Thank you.
Yeah, and so far our track record, I think it takes around 1 to 1.5 hours. So Spectrum Pharmacy delivers twice a day, so noon and at 5 p.m. So it's like if you get the prescription out before noon, it can be sent then or at 5 p.m. And then sometimes the delivery can take a while, but it's usually same day.
Are there any restrictions or I know you said, was it not pregnant women?
Yeah, so pregnant people and then youth, so under 18, so at the time.
Makes sense. Yeah. Alrighty. I did have one more question. So how long has this program been going on since it is fairly new?
I would say around the beginning of the year, maybe like somewhere in December. So still new, still figuring out some of the kinks, but yeah, feel free to call or text us if you do have questions. And we're really good with staffing with the providers too and seeing what they think because they're ultimately the one who makes that decision to prescribe.
And you said in order to expand, there was a position that's opened up.
That's for the Office of Violence and Injury Prevention, so that's a little bit different.
Meshes in, still
But we
ends
do
up
have
okay.
positions available, so.
Wonderful. I mean, yeah, because everyone in, in the community and the coalition, we all kind of work in the same, it all melts together. So that's great for us to know.
Yeah.
So any other questions? 4:47. Okay, I just want to make sure I get to the last things on the agenda. Thank you, Kimberly, so much for presenting. And if you could just send me those slides, I'll make sure to add them to everybody else.
Thank you for having me.
Sally, I don't know where we are. We got updates and upcoming community events.
You want to do the Second Chance Tucson ones?
Second Chance Tucson, guys. I'm helping out with that. We have our forum on April 9th. I put the link in there. There's registration. It's free. It's the first one they're going to be doing in person since COVID, I believe. So it should be super cool. I would love to see all you guys there. I'm going to be there. We're doing it on restorative justice. There's an amazing program, Bridges to Life, that has presented for our coalition. They're going to be speaking. Dr. Teresa Cullen will be speaking. We've got Pima Community Health. They do so much. There's so much. Y'all need to check out the website. There's so much help available in so many areas. So it's wonderful that we can kind of bring it. We're hoping to maybe get the mobile clinic there, get some resources. So share it and show up. What else do we got for events coming up? I think I'm on the wrong agenda, so this isn't helpful for anyone. Somebody have any events or stuff they want to share? I know Tom Ortiz was on here earlier. Any updates with Fresh Start or the clinics or I don't know, Danny, is there any job fairs coming up or anything going on?
March 22nd, the Fresh Start event has been moved to May 17th. We had difficulty getting the public defender's office on board to coincide the schedules with the public defender and county attorney. So it's tentative for May 17th, but we're hoping that we're going to have it at Goodwill of Southern Arizona, 1941 Silver Lake. It'll be from 9 to 1. And we'll get flyers out as soon as we have the confirmation.
Yay, I love to hear that. And what about October? Are we still having the big expo? Or
Absolutely.
okay, good. Because I've been talking to people and I want to make sure that's still going on. So I'm so grateful to hear that. Thank you. Do you have anything else you wanted to share? I'm sorry, I'm just cutting people off left and right.
Our market on the move, the Fresh Start International Market on the Move, we've been doing it since January at Zion City Church on Ajo and Mission. And the first month we did like 66 boxes. The second month we did like 93. And last month we sold out. 130 boxes. And
Of
so
what?
next month, it's like 60 pounds of produce for a $10 donation. And it's just an
Okay, cool.
absolute amazing quantity of food, and it's fresh and it's produce and it's very cool. So it's like 60 pounds you cannot eat by yourself. You have to share it. So we like to use the pun that we're producing community.
I get it. Produce.
Okay, and the fresh start in October will be October 19th.
Awesome. As soon as, Tom, as soon as you get any flyers or stuff, please send it my way so I can share it with everyone and
I'll
post
do
it
that.
up. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Sammy, you got your hand up?
Yes. We don't have any job fairs lined up, but we will be posting that stuff as it comes out. We do have job leads that we're coming up with pretty much daily that we're sending out to our participants, and our employment counselors, such as Andrea, who did a great job presenting. Yeah, and so she's just a great example of who we have on the team, right? We have about 50 employees across the state kind of doing similar work. So we're all passionate about what we're doing and, definitely making a change in the reentry. As far as Arizona at Work, we are going to be starting this thing. It's going to be called Ask Me How, Danny How, right? And it's going to be some questions, some updates on how
Love it.
reentry, just some things that people have gone through, some tips and pointers that work for myself and individuals that we've worked with. So that's going to be coming out. Also wanted to update everybody. April 1st, and I can send out the link. Arizona at Work is doing what is it, the Second Chance Month. So we're doing a symposium April 1st. That'll be from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. We have some success stories. So we're going to be, I think we have Arizona Corrections Rehabilitation is going to be on that. Then I'm going to take that hat off and put on the Ernest House hat and Heavy Kettle Popcorn. So this weekend is the street fair. So we're going to be out there. We're going to have some people working the trailer. All those proceeds or a portion of those proceeds goes towards housing individuals through the housing program. So that's pretty exciting. And then next weekend is the Tucson Maid Market, also down on 4th Avenue. That's on Sunday, all day event. It's part of 10 West Tucson this year. So it's gonna be a pretty big get together, vendors and stuff all up and down 7th, I believe it's 7th Avenue, 7th Street. So it's an all day event. We're gonna be out there again with the kettle corn doing some cool stuff. So I will send out some updates as far as any job fairs that are coming up though.
You have flyers for the other stuff that you just said, the cool events that
Yeah,
maybe
I can send those out this afternoon,
still
this
like to
evening.
share them. Really cool. I might see you there.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
got Caroline again has her hand up. Melissa has her hand up. Araceli. Shoot, whichever one.
I actually have a question for client that has graduated to his next step in his placement. He went from one of our housings to one of our other placements where he has his own apartment, and he doesn't have any family or any connection here, and he passed his driver's test, but but he can't take the driving test. And he said he looked into like being able to rent a car, or how would he get a vehicle to do that driving test. I don't know if anybody's come across any of these same struggles. But if anybody has any ideas or anything they can shoot me, I would appreciate your input.
It's an interesting situation. And great to put it to the whole community if anybody knows. It's off the top of my head, I'm like, somebody know who can borrow a car.
I know that's like who's gonna you can. And then he tried one of the people that lived there, but like the vehicle had a cracked windshield and it didn't work, and he couldn't use that vehicle. The other friend he had, it had the check engine light on, and he couldn't do that. And he couldn't use that vehicle also. So the MVD has has special requirements for the vehicle that can be used. And he hasn't been able to find one. I said, can you rent a car? How about you rent a car? And he's like, no, I looked into that and they won't let me rent a car. I can't rent a car to use for the driving test either. So putting it out there. Thank you.
Any of the peer organizations, or I don't know if they're in recovery or anyone, like the smaller peer groups that are out there. I'm gonna put my little brain in store. And I'm trying to think about it because that's a shame that somebody can't, you don't think about that. If you don't have a vehicle, you can't get the license and that.
Yeah, and I'm sure I feel like it's not the only person that's encountered this. There's somebody trying to come up in a town that they ended up in without family, or or if they did have people that were connection, they were the wrong people to connect with, and they're trying to start new relationships and not go back to the same place they were.
Interesting. Well, hopefully someone here, everybody think about it. Get back to yeah, you put your email in the chat, hopefully, and you're on there and people can connect with you. Melissa and Araceli, y'all both have your hands up.
Go ahead, Melissa.
So for Caroline, I need two people who had that problem. One straight out lied. They rented the car and they lied. That's what they did. And the other person, they were linked up with an organization. I don't think it was like behavioral health, but it was something. And the person that was managing their case like drove with them to the DMV, and then they just let that dude use their car. And that's how it went down. But no, what was I gonna say about the it's the Dream job fair? That date got posted kind of late, so it didn't get disseminated. So do share.
It's on the flyer. Melissa put it on the flyer. She did a great job with that. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you. Alrighty, Araceli?
Last thing, I'm still working on trying to get a reentry simulation scheduled for Second Chance Month. It would be later in the month, so if I get that approved, I'll be sending out a request for helpers. But I was just wondering, ask me how. Would you happen to have a solution for Caroline? I'm putting you on the spot, Nanny. I'm kidding. I couldn't resist. But anyway, thank you all.
Thank you guys. Danny might have hopped off, but I love
My email's in the chat.
the produce and the Danny how. Y'all are cool with your spinning games. Thank you guys so much. It's almost 5 o'clock. Y'all have held on this long. I appreciate all your time and for showing up and for all our presenters, sharing all the work that you guys do for the community. I am so grateful. If nobody has anything else to share with the community, hopefully we'll follow up with some flyers and stuff. And
I think Eva has something.
well, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that.
That's okay. I'm over here in the corner on my thing. It's very hard to see. But I just really want to quickly say, I know that, we have some fantastic organizations that are always presenting here. And if you want to give the community more information, there's one thing that we're going to have. It's Saturday, so it's kind of late notice, but if you'd like to come, we have a lot of people that are not just labor, but a lot of social justice agencies, a lot of people that are working with all kinds of areas for helping people. It's a march that we have every single year for over 2 decades now. It's called it's now called the Cesar Chavez, Arizona Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta March and Rally. And it's going to be a march that goes from Pueblo High School all the way to Rudy Garcia Park, who's a big labor person here in Tucson. And we have quite a few unions there. So people that need jobs can also talk to the unions as to how to get involved in the different jobs. So there's that opportunity for, the people that you're working with. But also, if you want to just, branch out and tell people about what you do in your different organizations, please come Saturday. And you don't have to do the march if you don't want to do that walk. You can just come and set up at the park, at the Rudy Garcia Park on the corner of Irvington and Nogales Highway. We're going to have a huge car show, classic car show. And we're going to have some really great music and a lot of great speakers. So if you have a chance, please come and join us over here at the Rudy Garcia Park on Saturday. The march itself starts at Pueblo High School. The danza, Native American dancers, will start at 8:45. Around 9 o'clock, we have some speakers. Then after the speakers, the march starts. This year, one of our largest kind of celebrations in a bittersweet way is we're going to honor Raul Grijalva, Congressman Grijalva, because of his passing. His family will be there. We're going to have a huge picture that we had at his vigil on Sunday. And then we're going to walk that big picture down the street with his family to the Rudy Garcia Park. And then every year since COVID, we've had what we call an altar, and it's an altar, with memories of those that have passed, of our loved ones, and also some big labor people and people like Pancho Medina, a huge artist here, that will be there too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have food trucks. So please come on down. And if you have any questions, just give me a call, 520-440-4828. Araceli has my information too, and quite a few people here also have my phone number. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about it. Thank you.
Gosh, look at you coming in with one of the best full events coming up soon. Thank you so much, Eva. Is there somewhere, a website that we can just tell people to go look at, or is it on Facebook maybe, or is there a link or a flyer?
Yes, it's just look up Arizona Cesar Chavez Coalition, and it'll take you to a Facebook page. And on that Facebook page, it's got all the information, the start time and everything, and the classic car show information. And it's really a beautiful occasion. We have the Native American dancers dance all the way from Pueblo High School all the way to the park and finish there. I don't know how they have the energy, but they do. It's incredible.
Young, that's why.
Yeah.
They're so young. They got that energy. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And this year we have people from that are from the university, professors and retired professors from that are going to be playing acoustics from Veracruz, music from Veracruz, and some dancers from Veracruz too, besides our regular folkloricos that we always have.
Oh, beautiful and wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm so glad Melissa saw you in the corner over there. Thank you. So grateful to have you here. Alrighty, everyone. So we'll be sure to hopefully get all the information out, and you guys can join us. And thank you for keeping and coming and presenting. And looking forward to seeing you guys next month. We'll keep you posted on things. So have a great rest of your week, guys.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.